You hear the shot before you see what it saves. A medic's hands steady as stone turn a rifle into a promise. A broken watch ticks once. An empty wallet snaps shut. A dusty road goes silent. Tonight, Olivia stops time for a SEAL team. And after that, time stops for her. Olivia keeps the broken watch anyway. The glass is spidered. The second hand stutters. It still smells faintly of burned rubber. It was her father's. He gave it to her the day before he left and didn't return. She doesn't know if it died on his wrist or on hers. Either way, it holds the kind of weight you don't put down. She keeps the empty wallet too. It has room for 2 photos and 3 cards. She never fills it. She says it keeps her honest. No debt, no lies. No promises she can't keep. The leather creaks like an old knee. When she opens it, it sounds like a sigh. The dusty road is real. It runs past a clinic that used to be a schoolhouse. The chalkboard still hangs in the hallway. The clinic smells like bleach and cumin and effort. Olivia is 23 and wears a name tape that has learned to drink sweat. She is a combat medic. She calls pain by its first name. She turns fear into tasks. The radio never shuts up. The road never stays quiet. Every hour brings something that bleeds. Olivia tapes clamps, pushes fluids, pushes words. She speaks like a metronome. Slow, steady. Inhale here. Exhale now, look at me. I am not leaving. Some nights the SEALs come through. They move like fog with sharp edges. They drop off a man with a torn shoulder or a leg that forgot how to be a leg. They say ma'am and thank you in voices that sound like gravel in a tin. They leave the same way they came. Like a rumor, one night they don't leave. A convoy hits pressure plates outside the clinic wall. The wall bows. The lights blink. The chalkboard falls. Olivia ends up under a table with a boy whose eyes are the wrong kind of wide. She can't feel her left foot. It doesn't matter. Her right hand is free, and that's the one that holds the tourniquet. They make a pile of stretchers in the hallway. They make a river out of red. They make the minutes long. Olivia hears the sniper first. 2 pops, a pause, a third, not far, not close. She knows the spacing of panic, and this isn't it. This is method. A SEAL drags through the doorway with a trench in his thigh. He leaves coins behind him like breadcrumbs. His blood smells like pennies. He tells her the shooter has glass and height and a southern wind. He says it like he's listing groceries. He tells her to stay down. He tells her to wait. Then he stops talking because he meets shock and it tells him a story he cannot refuse. Olivia threads a needle with shaking fingers that refuse to show it. She pushes morphine. She pushes saline. She pushes luck. Outside, someone screams words that were not built for vowels. The radio rises and falls like a tide nobody ordered. She steps into the courtyard to drag in a boy with dust in his hair. The air snaps at her cheeks. A round hits the metal sign above her and turns the letter O into a bite. She pulls the boy inside. Her pulse walks into her throat and sits down there. The sniper waits. He does not waste. He works at a distance where names blur. Olivia has seen him before without seeing him. She has seen his work. The neat holes. The sudden silence. She has seen his patience written in bodies. That night she opens a metal locker no one touches. It holds 3 rifles there because 3 rifles fit. Her hands hover over them like she's warming them by a stove. She does not take one, not yet. She lifts the broken watch and taps the fogged glass. The second hand tries to move, fails, tries again. She thinks about the way a wound tracks through tissue, the way it expands with breath, the way it hides behind bone. She thinks about wind, angle, pulse. She treats 6 people in 30 minutes. She keeps 2 others. Fails one. The one she fails has a picture of a girl on his dog tags. The girl's front teeth are too big for her face. The picture is laminated badly. The corners blur. Olivia puts the picture in the empty wallet. She needs to carry it until she knows who to hand it to. That seems fair. The SEALs set up a ring they call soft and then hard. They talk about windows like they are threats. Olivia hears one of them curse the ridgeline. She hears one say the shooter is learning them. She hears one more thing. A small thing. It sounds like regret. She steps back into the courtyard and looks up. The moon is a half coin. The rooftop is a broken tooth. The road is a rib of the earth. She cannot see him. She can tell where he is by where she is not allowed to stand. She finds a length of rebar. She lifts it high. She runs across the courtyard, holding it like a flag. The shot rips the air a breath late. It hits the rebar and sings. She drops behind the burned-out truck where she meant to drop. Now she knows the angle. Now she knows the patience. Now she knows he breathes on the left side of his chest because his timing is left-weighted. She files it. At dawn, the seals vanish, the clinic sleeps with one eye open, and the dusty road forgets everything for a minute. Olivia sits with the empty wallet and the broken watch and the boy's picture. She is not a shooter. She is not. She knows that. But the road keeps a tally. The chalkboard keeps a tally. Her hands keep a tally. The numbers refuse to go down. Someone sets a long, low rifle on her table. They set it like a question. They set it like an answer. It is not one of the three from the locker. It smells like machine oil and rain. The note attached to the sling is 3 words, learn the wind. Olivia picks it up. She walks outside into the morning. She looks at the ridge. She levels the barrel at the horizon like a promise she shouldn't make. The radio hisses once, like it wants to tell her something and thinks better of it. She curls her finger, and that is the moment the watch's second hand shivers. Tries again, then stops. The shot cracks. Something on the ridge answers, and then something else answers back. Closer. Closer than it should be. Closer than she's ready for. Closer than anyone warned her about. Someone she cannot see says her name, and not through a radio from the roof behind her. The voice says her name like it owns the letters. Olivia. She rolls. The table explodes. Splinters claim the air like snow. Her ribs find the edge of a cot and argue with it. She tastes dust and copper. The figure on the roof does not shoot. That is worse than if he did. He waits. He lets the fear write a paragraph. He wants her to read it. I know your watch, he says. She thinks. Not my name, not my watch. But the watch sits on the floor by the doorway. He could see it from the roof. He could know anything from anywhere if he knows enough angles. She drags 2 wounded behind a water tank. She pushes a crash cart with her right shoulder. She keeps the rifle flat against her forearm like a book. The metal leaves a cold stripe there. The roofman moves. The shadow tilts. She hears the grit under his boots. He's light. He's practiced. He is not the ridge shooter. This is someone different. A rover, a mirror. He is here to finish confusion. Then he is gone. He leaves the same way fog does. He leaves a memory instead of a shape. The convoy arrives late with a bent axle and a story that nobody wants to keep. The seals fan out in that quiet way again. They don't ask about the roof. They already counted the footprints. Their chief finds Olivia by the chalkboard. He looks at the splinters in her sleeve. He looks at the rifle by her knee. He says a thing that makes her hands float for a second. You want to borrow a range? She wants to say no. She wants to say she has enough broken things to fix without making new ones at 600 meters. But the dusty road is a mouth that whispers a number. It whispers the number of holes a careful shooter can keep from opening. She rides to the range sitting on an ammo can. The truck hops. The horizon is a line from a cheap pen. The wind tries to make eyes water. No one lets it. The range is a natural bowl where someone cut lanes into the earth like stitches. There are steel plates and paper silhouettes. There are walls of sandbags that have seen more weather than most houses. A man in a faded ball cap runs the place. He talks like he's chewing a nail and doesn't want anyone to notice. He hands Olivia a logbook. It is half full of other people's mathematics and mistakes. Write your lies, he says. She writes the truth in short lines. Temperature, elevation, density, altitude. The wind does what the wind does. She watches grass heads bow. She watches dust choose a direction and argue with it. She watches the second hand on the broken watch refuse to help. Her first shots are honest. Honest is wide. Honest is high. Honest digs a groove toward better. She breathes through her teeth. She works the bolt like a second pulse. The sling bites the back of her triceps. The stock settles into the pocket of her shoulder and learns it. The ball cap man watches her grip, not her groups. He nods when her pinky finger relaxes. He shakes his head when she chases the trigger, reaching through it instead of into it. He tells her to stop blinking at the recoil like she expects it to bite different next time. You're a medic, he says. Use that. She goes still. She thinks about artery maps. She thinks about rib angles and how breath moves bones. She thinks about how pressure follows a path if you give it one. She imagines the bullet as a pulse that she can rehab. She imagines the air as a chest cavity that she can drain. Her groups tighten like a fist. She learns to wait for the wind to decide who it is. She learns to hold the shot deep enough that it cannot escape early. She stops fighting the trigger and starts giving it permission. At 700, she gets bored of steel and starts cutting stitches in paper. At 8, she feels the earth tilt under the round as it arcs. She measures the tilt with a pen. The pen leaks a little ink onto her thumb and she keeps the stain for luck. At 900, a gust picks a fight. She loses the fight and then steals it back. She starts thinking in clicks instead of words. She stops thinking at all. That is when the rifle becomes her second pair of lungs. The SEAL chief watches from the shade. He does not smile because this is not a game that needs teeth. He sends someone to fetch a scope that looks like a lighthouse. He sets it next to her. Glass is truth, he says. She says nothing. She is busy learning which truth is useful and which truth is noise. The ball-cap man brings out a crate that smells like cosmoline and old salt. He sets a rifle on a mat and steps back like he is introducing a friend he doesn't get to see often. Its barrel is heavy and patient. Its stock bears scars that never saw a parade. The turret caps are nicked. The cheek rest is taped where someone's face once insisted. "Try that wind again," he says. She tries. The rifle weighs more than her doubt. It rewards stillness in a way the lighter gun only promised. It likes to be held like it might break. It likes to be told the answer gently. Her world reduces. There is reticle. There is breath. There is the round that is waiting to become a line. There is the wind that is waiting to become an excuse. She does not give it one. The plate at 1000 rings like church. She blinks. The sound arrives late, small, amazed. Someone behind her breathes in and doesn't finish the breath. Again, the chief says again, until again becomes always. She learns how the mirage leans. She learns the way heat lies. She learns to subtract promises and add corrections. By dusk, she is empty in the good way. Her arms shake like she has held a child for too long and refuses to put it down. The ball-cap man takes the rifle and cleans it with a cloth that knows the path by heart. He gives Olivia the cloth and he gives her the path. Then she asks the question she has been saving like cash in an envelope. How do you shoot without losing the part of you that heals? He shrugs. You don't, he says. You let the two sides argue. And you give the argument a purpose. You let one save 10. You let 10 pull one back tomorrow. She writes that in the logbook too. Not as ballistics. As doctrine on the ride back, she counts streetlights. She counts heartbeats. She counts how many names she owes a call to. The empty wallet rides in her pocket. The broken watch hangs from a paracord loop on her vest. They bump her when the truck hits a rut. They remind her what time it is even though they can't tell her. The clinic is quiet when she returns. Too quiet. Quiet that teaches. A cupboard hangs open as if someone left in a hurry. A cup lies on its side. Coffee stains dry in a map shape on the counter. The chalkboard has a message on it in a hand she does not know. Learn the wind. Now follow it. She goes still. She breathes through her nose. The floor is clean where the message writer stood while he wrote. No grit, no drag marks. He chose his place to stand. He chose the angle to the door. The radio crackles. A voice comes low and urgent. It is not one of the call signs she knows. Olivia, it says, if you want the boy whose picture you took to have a father who can come claim him, you will take your rifle and you will come to the road. Alone. There is a sound behind the words. Metal. A truck tailgate. A quiet sob translated through a hand. Bring the watch, the voice says. We will trade time. She wants to call the chief. She wants to say 3 words. She wants to say wait, plan, team. But the dusty road is already in her head. The line is drawn. It leads to a place where someone has set a trap and set a table and hopes she can't tell which is which. She checks the empty wallet. She slides the picture out. She slides it back in. She lifts the rifle. It feels heavier than the last time, like it learned 30 new stories. She steps into the heat. The road looks like a fuse, and at the far end of it, something sparks. The pickup waits where the road forgets to be a road and becomes a suggestion. 2 men sit on the tailgate. They look like cousins of trouble. The one on the left smokes like the cigarette owes him rent. The one on the right watches the sinuous shimmer above the hood. He will tell the breeze where to go if it doesn't pick a lane. Between them is a figure with tape on his wrists, a man who holds himself like he is trying not to show his children a new shape of fear. His face is turned down. His breath comes shallow. Olivia maps his injuries from 20 yards. Bruised ribs, a lip split twice, hydration decent. Pride damaged but not dead, she moves slow. The rifle lies at low ready. The broken watch taps her vest. The empty wallet bumps against her thigh. Symbols have gravity. They make their own tides. The smoker smiles without his eyes. He lifts a hand in greeting. It contains nothing. That is its message. You brought the clock, he says. She nods. Her throat feels like something is stapled there. The radio in her pocket stays mute. She turned it down to a heartbeat. The team cannot save her if she chooses not to be saved. The team cannot save the hostage if she turns this into a gunfight where math wins. The other man points to a dent in the truck bed. He says her name again. He says it like he wants to keep it. Put the rifle there, he says. Put the watch on top. Then take 10 steps back. She shakes her head. She wants them close to one thing she controls. She wants the rifle to stay a hand's reach away. She wants them to accept a compromise without calling it that. 5, she says. I give you 5. I keep this here. She sets the rifle on the dirt by her boot. She lays the watch on the stock. The cracked crystal throws a shard of light across the man's face. He blinks. He doesn't know why that's important. It is. Let him walk, she says. He comes to me. You can watch him all you like. But he comes to me. Then the watch is yours, they laugh. It's not cruel. It's rehearsed. It doesn't travel far. The breeze eats the edges. You are a medic, the smoker says. You are not a dealer. I am both today, she says. Today I trade. They nod because the script needs nods. They haul the man off the bed and push him toward her. He staggers. He catches himself on a breath that is too sharp for a chest that's sore. He looks at her like he never thought he would see someone like her here. He looks at the rifle. He looks at the watch. He looks at the road behind her like maybe it will sprout a door. He reaches her. He falls more than kneels. She cuts the tape with a benchmade that has cut everything but hope. She gives him water. She gives him focus. Stand on my left, she says. Keep moving when I tell you. Don't stop unless I say your name and you know I'm saying it. He nods. He understands the grammar of running. He understands the weight of a command when the voice is flat. The smoker reaches for the watch. His hand hovers there like a moth over a flame he thinks is tame. Now, she says softly. The hostage moves right. Fast. He is not a sprinter. He is a father. That is faster. The shooter on the ridge had taught her one thing that mattered most. The breath between. The pause where mischief turns into bullet. The half-second when a body resets, she uses it. She drives her heel into the rifle. The stock jumps. The watch flips. The sun finds the cracked crystal and throws a flash like lightning. The smoker's eyes go to light because eyes are old animals. The other man's hand drops to a waistband. She has already moved. She takes the rifle like it wanted to come up all along. She rests it against a knee. She forgets she is standing. She becomes prone in her mind. The reticle slides to the waistband hand. The wind pulls right. The mirage says she will miss if she believes it. She does not believe it. She breaks the shot. The gun says a clean word. The waistband hand stops being a hand for long enough for the hostage to turn his train into a rocket. The smoker dives behind the tailgate. He fires blind. He has never met blind that can beat a student of glass. She shifts left. The rifle becomes a whisper. The tailgate becomes a bell. 2 more shapes lift from where the brush tries to pretend it is not cover. They run like men with shoes that learned only sprint. She is already at the second stage of herself. There is no thinking here. There is only duty paid in corrections. The first drops when his knee becomes theory. The second changes his mind about his job. Good. Amen. A crack answers from far out where every ridge is a sly smile. It is not theirs. It is not hers. It is the same careful voice from the night before. Roofman's teacher, or pupil, or brother. The bullet chews the engine block where her head was a breath ago. She tastes oil. She smells the truck's old arguments. She throws the hostage into the ditch. She covers him with the same lousy tarp that has covered every secret since agriculture. She speaks into his ear like a priest. Do not move your fear to your legs, she says. Let me do that. He doesn't know what that means. He obeys anyway. The ridge voice fires again. The shot is late by design. He wants her to think he will keep the same rhythm. He will change the rhythm when it matters. That is what the patient shooters do. They become a metronome. Then they stop. Then they listen to you rush into the silence. She refuses to give him the silence he wants. She waits for her breath to become wide. She waits for the mirage to smooth. The wind dies like it made a promise elsewhere. She shoots the side mirror off the truck. The mirror flips and stands in the dirt at a low angle like a door to a smaller sky. In that sky, the ridgeline reflects. In that sky, a glint betrays a scope. She dials 3/10. She aims at the imagined left eye of a reflection of a man she has never met. She squeezes like closing a wound. The rifle nods once,